Hey guys, it's Damien here. Thanks for listening as always. And look, I just wanted to say that I am filming my latest show. All my latest material and the stuff I've been developing for the last couple of years. I'm filming it at the Sydney Comedy Store on October 22nd. Tickets are at my website. There's 2 shows, one at 7 and one at 8:30. I'm also doing a show on October 19th up in Brisbane as part of the Good Chat Caxton Street Comedy Festival if you want to come along to that. All the details for all those shows are on my website. Come along, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Right now in the world, particularly the Western world, there is nowhere to live.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Some people are really, really struggling. And at the cornerstone or the sort of
Coalface.
linchpin, coalface is a great way to put it, of this is real estate agents.
Yeah.
So they're at the face of the greed and the
evictions.
exploitation of the fact that it's a seller's market right now.
Oh yeah, they
and
are,
they're capitalizing massively.
and yet they put their face up everywhere with their phone number.
Right.
The most hated group in society.
Right.
Is literally like, here's my face, here's my number.
Here's
on a
me
bus shelter.
smiling maniacally while you struggle to find somewhere to live, and if you want to get in contact with me, here it is.
Yeah, it's an interesting gambit to be, at the bus shelter to have like, Ray White, here's my number, my face smiling maniacally in a
Bella Robinson in your corner, like top sales agent.
in a Burberry suit.
Yeah.
And you're on the bus, so you're poor. You've probably been evicted recently.
Yeah. Which we both have.
Yeah.
In fairly recent times. And the amount of defacing has increased.
Yeah. I've noticed a lot.
Yeah. I see a lot of... There's one guy gets his billboard defaced every week where I drive past in Brisbane.
Yeah, they get the Hitler moustache.
They get the Hitler moustache.
The swastika. And then like, when they clean it, their face warps.
Yeah, it gets faded.
Gets, like, bigger.
Yep.
I've seen the face get bigger from all the scrubs. Like it starts looking like they're bloated.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah. And then they put a new one up, and then that gets defaced. That's what happens on my street.
Yeah.
Well, not my street, but where I drive past all the time. They deface it, they replace it, then they deface again. It's like a war.
Yeah.
Where he's just trying to get his face up, and people keep defacing it.
Yeah, why do we need to see the face of the person that's fucked you over everywhere?
I don't know. It's
Is
a
it
weird
necessary
thing
to see their face?
Why ask?
And then they put their thing, another sold. They put, when they go sold and they put their face up again, smiling.
Yeah. Why are real estate agents doing that in general?
They're trying to make it more about them than their house or something now. I've seen an ad where it's like the real estate agent like doing this and like little shots. Like it's almost like an independent film. So it'll have like the real estate agent going like showing their house, and then it's like him drinking an espresso, just staring into the middle distance at another property that he's going to sell. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this is literally at the movies. You know how they have like trailers?
They have the
movies?
local trailers.
It's the local trailer is just a real estate agent, and he's just like laughing. Like there's one where he's like hanging out with his friends. It's like, do we need to see the rest of the life of the scumbag? Like what he does to decompress?
Yeah, he's partying and shit.
After evicting a share
Show
house.
him doing coke.
Yeah.
Which is probably meth, as we discussed.
Show him taking his clothes off and chasing a woman with a samurai sword because he did too much coke.
He had a paranoid breakdown and tried to attack someone with a samurai sword.
Yeah, show the psychopathic.
Yeah, there is a psychopathic element to it, isn't there?
Because it's the friendly sociopath.
Right.
It's the sociopath with social skills.
Because he's able to
most
sell.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Patrick Bateman, if you made the movie now, he'd be a real estate agent.
Yeah, it would be. Hey, you'd see his face around. Patrick Bateman.
I do ice baths. It helps with the evictions.
It is funny how decoupled religion is, like Buddhism, for example, with meditation. It's so decoupled from the actual religion. Like nobody's meditating because they're Buddhist. They're meditating so they can calm their fucking nerves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not part of the Buddhist culture anymore.
Yeah.
Same with Christianity. People are being Christians so they get the health benefits or whatever of going to a church and belonging, but don't believe in God.
Yeah.
It's a weird time.
It's an interesting thing when, someone, becomes an Anglican just for the social life.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't believe in hell. It's a bit much. It's like, I thought it was the cornerstone of the whole thing.
Anyway, I like what you were saying earlier about, we were talking about, you were reading about how Hitler killed himself in the bunker.
Oh, yeah.
And you were saying there was a number for Lifeline?
Yeah, I was reading an article about how Hitler shot himself in the bunker, and then at the end it had the number for Lifeline, and I was like, that it feels a bit anti-Semitic, just...
Kind of saying, like, if even though he was a genocidal maniac, he could have reached out.
Yeah. Even genocidal maniacs, like, therapy can help.
Yeah, like, are you okay?
Yeah. And I was like, I just think he would have had trouble finding a therapist at that time. Like, I wonder where they were.
Right.
All the therapists.
He sort of shot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Because he was putting all the therapists that may be of a certain race into camps and therefore couldn't receive therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, all the people that, it's like, yeah, he would have had to visit
a camp.
Yeah. Dachau to get some good therapy.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fucked up. But it is funny to think of Hitler calling Lifeline, though, and just asking, like, I don't know, I'm feeling a bit down and so on because my nation, the nation state
collapsed.
that I created has collapsed.
He's like, I know.
Yeah.
I know, I've been following.
We're all
artillery
very
fire and stuff.
Yeah,
the Soviet incursion.
Yeah, we're well aware.
Going to liberate the camps. So, yeah, no, I'm just thinking about ending it sort of more of a suicide pact thing.
Yeah.
With Goebbels and, those guys.
Yeah, those guys.
He's going to take his family down with him too. So, yeah, he's pretty committed.
It's crazy that they ended up in court.
Yeah.
Like, which ones ended up in court? Goering didn't he?
Yeah, I think Goering.
They ended up in the International Tribunal.
They were wearing headphones like this. Where they're all sitting.
Yeah.
It's like the worst silent disco ever. Just Hermann Goering and Rudolf Hess just all wearing headphones. Just really fuck.
Oh boy, we did it this time.
It does look, because it's like 10 of them wearing headphones. It looks like a silent disco that's been walking for too long and dancing, and they have like a break.
Yeah, where they sit down and they're kind of bored of it.
No, this is pretty lame.
This International Tribunal. I mean, Jesus Christ. I love that they stuck it through. They didn't kill themselves. It's crazy. They're like, no, let's just... I think we've got a good case.
Yeah. These judges seem fair.
Yeah.
They seem objective.
We can talk this out.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah, I feel like now, in general, as far as getting older goes, I do feel like... I just made this insight. I don't know if it's true. But don't you think that we'd spend more on anti-aging than we would on old age care?
Yeah.
And I just wonder what that says. You know what I mean? About our society, I mean.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, people don't want to get old. People never wanted to get old. But I feel like in the older days, people would turn to the elderly for wisdom. But now we have ChatGPT. We're obsessed with the new, the modern... And so I think people are desperate to stay young at all costs now.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that ChatGPT and an really old person in a nursing home have in common is they both hallucinate.
Right.
Things. You know how like ChatGPT will be like, Abraham Lincoln had the first TikTok account. Like it'll just spit out.
Yeah, it'll make mistakes. Yeah, crazy, weird mistakes.
It's like when you visit Dorothy and she's like, I was in... Wizard of Oz. Like...
I see what you mean,
That was me. She's pointing at the TV. It's kind of... They do have that in common. I mean, they're both fountains of wisdom as well.
Yeah.
They're both, but they hallucinate.
Yeah, you're not throwing them under the bus.
Like Dorothy will tell you not to smoke.
Right.
Because of what it did to her arteries.
Right, and so will ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you used much ChatGPT?
No. I feel like I have seen it like prompt, like you get it to prompt, write an article about, the Civil War or something. It does feel like how someone would write if they were on a lot of Prozac.
Right.
Like it's devoid of emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. I can't say I've used it a lot, but I've seen enough of it to know that it's fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? Like it's
It is weird that the people who create the artificial intelligence are the ones who warn you most about it.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it is true.
They're building things. They're like, we're building this thing that could end humanity as we know it. Someone should stop us. It's a weird mix.
Yeah,
to be like literally hammering in the nail to the apocalypse, like creating a helmet that'll measure your thoughts and.
Yeah, well, Elon Musk was started the ChatGPT company, but left because he wanted it to be open source. He didn't want it for profit.
Yeah, well, it's like if Big Tobacco was like. Big Tobacco were the people leading the warnings against smoking.
Well, they were, yeah. I mean, they do stuff like that.
No,
like they pay for the,
But if they were doing it in the original stages.
Yeah. Like, hey, watch out, guys.
These cigarettes will kill you, definitely.
Yeah, but they're for sale as well.
It's up to you to stop us. That's what's weird. It's like, you've got to stop us. We're going to keep doing it. Someone should regulate us.
Please help us.
Because no one else is saying to regulate them except for them, really.
Yeah, well, I guess it hasn't caught up yet. It's fucking scary. But that'll be us, man. Like I just mean in the sense that I'll be out of touch with that shit. Like I already feel like it's just too much new stuff happening that I can't keep up with.
Yeah.
Like I'll be the fucking dude in the library hiring DVDs.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
I was in the library the other day. This old dude had come in with roller luggage to fill it with DVDs. Mm-hmm. But also, like, I saw he had, like, toothpaste and stuff in it, too. Like,
right. He was living out of a suitcase.
Yeah. So then the communal printer they have with the print jobs, he's basically he's surrounded with documents, like pieces of paper, like he's like clicking on the print jobs and they're coming up with images of buildings, and it's basically his manifesto is what it looks like.
Jesus Christ.
And so he's filled the whole screen with print jobs, and he's just the printer just keeps printing out stuff, and he's like, this is going to take a while.
What's he printing?
It was just images and documents. Like, I imagine it's something to do with UFOs, or like he had a book about space.
Right.
But do you know what I mean? I felt like he was like, I'm going to take this to the UN.
Right.
That kind of vibe. Like,
I mean, the fact it's printed out in a library, I think, says a lot about its contents.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he, like...
Yeah, no one on the cutting edge of quantum physics goes to the local Toowong City Council library to print out their latest findings of a 1,000-page document about how particles behave at the edge of a black hole.
Yeah.
They're not doing that next to the meth head who's watching
mukbang
Cops.
videos.
Yeah, or whatever. Watching the TV show Cops.
Yeah.
On a free to use council computer.
Yeah, the guy that's watching people playing pool on YouTube. I don't think I don't think that's where the cutting edge comes.
Right, yeah. He's watching the international darts competition.
I'm watching this guy's life. Like, he's got he's like, I need to look at the documents. He's like, this is going to take potentially forever. Like you're just not going to be able to use this printer today.
It's occupied.
Like, he's just taken over the printer.
I would love to know what that document is.
It was weird. He's like I need to look at the images. Then he's zooming in on like weird objects in the thing.
The pyramids.
Yeah, and just had a book on astronomy, and then DVDs, like just the luggage, like you can see that he's
Yeah.
living out of it.
You do get a unique breed at the library
Yeah,
because whatever they're doing can't go in an office.
yeah,
And then you get students that are there, obviously legitimate reasons. Then you just get middle-aged people that are confused.
they're either doing family trees or stockpiling DVDs. That's one of the big activities, is to like trace your lineage.
Right. I didn't know that. That's an interesting one.
Because they've got books on that kind of thing.
Right. That's a very interesting one.
So that's another thing you can waste your time with. Is
That's another way to waste your time.
if you're looking for ways to waste your time, you can do your lineage. Like, it's not that good if the offspring has ended up at the library. Like tracing it.
Yeah,
it's like, don't forget about it.
Yeah, because every job in the lineage seems exciting in hindsight.
Yeah.
Like, I know my dad told me a story about one of the first powers from my family who arrived in Australia via boat, and it washed up, crashed, and he washed up with the ship logs, like around Point Danger, sort of near the New South Wales border. And that sounds like a crazy story.
Yeah.
I had this relative, he washed up in a ship trying to get to Australia with the ship logs. But at the time, I'm sure it was just like that fucking idiot, drove his ship into a rock. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Power crashed his ship.
It's like when someone wraps their ute around a telegraph pole.
Right, yeah. Like
you
if
don't
I
write a book about it.
Yeah, I drove down to Melbourne to live, and on the way there, I accidentally drove into a gutter.
Yeah.
And I lost all my notebooks and gathered them up before, the ambulance came.
Yeah.
No, in 100 years' time, they'll be like, yeah, he crashed his Toyota Corolla.
Yeah,
like,
I know
will
what
that
you mean.
be nostalgic?
It's like your great grandfather used Morse code to call Gary a gay cunt. So, and you're like, that's interesting. He used that ancient. I mean, that's,
just because it's ancient,
it's just like
doesn't mean
texting.
he's not calling Terry a gay cunt.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like, but because it's Morse code, you're like, that's so interesting. I come from a rich legacy,
a rich heritage. Yeah,
a rich heritage. They use Morse code.
Yeah, they
to
used
abuse each other.
Grandma used to write granddad letters.
Yeah,
during the war.
Yeah,
and that's going to happen soon. Like World War, I think may have already started.
Yeah,
and I'm sure in the future they'll look back and go, my son will go, my dad used to send my mum emails.
Yeah,
and texts with pictures of his dick or whatever, like it'll...
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be like, yeah, he sent pictures of his penis. That's something they did back then. It was
but it'll be in a museum?
Yeah.
Like, I come from a rich legacy. Rich
Just
heritage.
because the technology's so old.
Yeah.
Because in the future it'll be all telepathy through biological, artificial intelligent, wireless communication, because you've got a chip in your brain. And they'll be like, yeah, they had these old phones and they'd send pictures of each other's genitals to each other.
Yeah.
As a sign of love and interest.
That's going to be crazy when you see like a Nintendo 64 like embalmed in a museum. They used to play Mario Kart.
As an ancient game.
Yeah, they used to play Mario Kart. I reckon things will get so advanced, like when that neural link and everything, it'll be to the point where like a car will drive past with an exhaust fume, and you'll get compensated by the driver for the pollution or something.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think things could get that linked.
That intertwined, where if someone comes on the super fast public transport, whatever it is in the future, and plays their Bluetooth speaker loud,
yeah,
you get some credit points and they get deducted, and they're like, I'm willing to pay for that to disrupt the...
Yeah, like just comes out of their account. It's like, no, you disrupted his causing damage to the hair follicles. That's like $2 or whatever. Comes out of your account for blasting.
He'll need to be compensated for the medical damage that caused slightly.
Yeah.
Because it's so, yeah.
It's almost like, when you split a bill and everyone pays equal, I think in the future it'll be like, well, he didn't enjoy the Dutch carrots as much. So, like, he gets to pay a bit less.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It'll measure everyone's brain. He fucking loved the Wagyu more.
So he should pay more.
Like, it'll get it, and so it'll just split the bill. Like, using all these metrics.
Wow.
It'll be like a calculator of, like, a god's...
Might make dating easier.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I find about dating that's so stressful is the interpretive labour
Yeah.
of whether they're interested.
Yeah. one side is thriving in the ambiguity of it.
Right.
kind of.
Yeah.
It's like when a promoter says, "Are you free Wednesday?" And you're like, "For what?"
Yeah.
'Cause
how
they know.
much? Yeah. How much? Where? When?
Yeah.
It's like dating, you know. It's someone you go on a date. Like, did they enjoy it?
Yeah.
You know, will I see them again? Are they interested? You
Yeah.
just don't know. If you could have a Neuralink style in the future where they're like, this is exactly how interested they are.
Yeah.
Here's a graph.
Yeah.
This is their emotional reality.
This is where the conversation there was a lull. You're like, I remember the lull. Yeah, that lost you a lot. Like it's an indie detail.
Yeah, you shouldn't have brought up the Nazi tribunal.
Yeah.
That sort of killed the vibe a little bit by this much. It really damaged your chances.
Yeah.
Going on about
it
Goering. She's Jewish.
Apropos of nothing. Apropos of nothing.
Yeah, these cocktails are nice. Hey, did you know Herman Goring was part of the tribunal?
He was quite a flamboyant character. He'd enjoy a cocktail himself, like you're trying to link.
Because you've got all this stuff on World War II that you think is interesting.
When you get to a point, like older people get to a point where they segue back to their topic.
Yeah, they do.
Like my friend's dad does that with the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be like having an argument with his sister. It'll be over who does the dishes. He's like, this is like John Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah.
How they wanted his name first. And he's like, no, it's not separate. Like it's her turn. You know, so like he's trying to segue because he's like, I'm Beatles now. I'm 65. It's Beatles and then death.
You know what
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like I'm not getting off the Beatles until it's over.
Yeah. Like, you know what it is? And I found this with my dad, is that they have about 5 or 6 tracks.
Yeah.
Like a record. And everything goes to them, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I can feel it happening.
No, I know. Yeah.
Like I'm slowly narrowing down my tracks.
Yeah.
Like one is food and wellness. Like that's a track for me. I can segue, you know. Hey man, how was the trip to Portugal? The food, not as good, you know, organic, blah, blah. Like it just goes straight to that.
Yeah, there's certain tracks.
I need a smoothie, like, you know, whatever. Like my dad has Australia's piss week. Political correctness has gone mad. And some certain stuff about football. And yeah, a couple of others, that's it.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, a big one is Australia's Piss Week, and a lot goes to that.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, that's a big gutter, like a Grand Canyon of neural pathway.
It's actually easier to talk to these people because you can gently tilt them into it.
Yeah, well, anything goes to that. Because you're like, oh, I went down to the beach. Jeez, it was busy today. Oh, that's because it's overcrowded. Australia's Piss Week. They always fucking... And just goes on this long...
I've got that one I can do with if I'm talking to an older fella that's had enough of political correctness, I can bait them with stuff. Like I'll be like, yeah, you know those weighted vests that people work out with where they make you 5 kilograms heavier?
Yeah.
They're saying it's cultural appropriation of fat people. They're culturally appropriating being 5 kilograms heavier with the vest on. And they're like, what the fuck? Like you can just...
Yeah.
Like the vein, like, that's just outright. Like, it's just so...
You're making ones up there, surely.
Yeah, I know. I made that one up.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. Well, you know, like, the crazier, the better.
Because that's insane.
Yeah.
Like, but it sounds like to them, because their prism, their interpretive lens is literally like all stuff like that gets filtered through. That's political correctness. So when you say that the weighted vests they're using at CrossFit, they're trying to cancel people for using them because they're culturally appropriating someone who's 5 kilograms heavier than them.
That's a brilliant one, yeah.
That just, it like gets them deep.
It'd be good to trigger my dad about how piss weak Australia is and how it's too politically correct and overgoverned and just, you know, record each one and put it together like a single, just to see the comparisons between the rants.
To see how similar they are.
Yeah. And you just, you know, it's not a difficult, like you say, you just have preset triggers.
Yeah.
You know, I got a parking fine. It was nearly $200. Fucking Australia's piss week. And then so on.
It's a lot easier than someone with diverse interests.
Yeah. Well, so what does that mean? That as we get older, the interests narrow?
I think the brain calcifies much like the heart. the arteries kind of.
I thought you meant emotionally.
I think. Well, yeah, I think that. Well, literally as well, and emotionally, I think everything calcifies. You basically your neurotransmitters are dying off.
Right.
So you're just literally whatever you got caught on last is kind of like you're stuck on it.
Right.
Like a record that's stuck. Like rip it and goes back. Rip, Beatles. Like it's malfunctioning kind of. And it's in the death throes.
You say that the brain is incapable of generating new ideas outside of political correctness has gone mad. Because if you watch Sky News, which, I don't know, overseas listeners may not, I guess it's closest to Fox News, or I think it's different in the UK, but I guess it's our right-wing channel that's in Australia that's directed towards that generation.
Yeah.
The older 70s, 80s, the older generation of people. That's a fair comment, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, totally.
And that's geared towards their singular, their favourite grooves or whatever, their favourite tracks in their brains. So it is like, oh, geez, how crazy is technology getting is one thing they touch on a lot. And the other is just everything comes back to political correctness has gone mad and how Australia's failing.
And then it's basically about getting like those, those really rich cheeses that have like blue veins in them, getting examples of that caliber. Like top shelf vintage.
Top shelf.
Like niche
premium
examples.
Premium examples.
Where it's like, fuck, what? Like,
yeah.
Like one of them is like a guy I met that thinks J.K. Rowling is the worst person in the world, but collects Harry Potter Lego.
Oh, yeah, that's rife.
So he's like a woke incel.
Right.
So it's like a multiple, can aggravate people on multiple levels.
I once saw philosopher Slavoj Žižek do this thing on TV or something where he was surrounded by screens and the screens would throw up imagery. It might have been the Iraq War was one, for example, or climate catastrophe, and the images come up and he has to improvise based on the imagery of this room of screen. Yeah. And he has to improvise his thoughts about it and stuff. And I'd kind of like to see that, like you put a boomer in there and just stimulate them with, just see how riled up you could get them. Like, just like a giant screen of like, these are all gender bathrooms. Like, what? Yeah. Why do you fucking, and then like, here's one, of health and safety now. You're not allowed to, go above a ladder of a certain rung. This is a video footage of someone being fined for misusing a ladder. Fucking hell, fucking...
That'd be great,
you know, and just build it up. And just, I wonder if there's a point where they reach a frenzy. A political correctness has gone mad frenzy.
You could use the activity generated by the electricity in the brain to, like, generate power.
So you think it could be a renewable energy solution?
Yeah.
The political correctness. So you'd have hundreds of boomers, all, and they're all getting stimulated with all gender bathrooms.
Yeah, like the Matrix. But it's just like, they're wearing weighted vests. It's cultural appropriation of people fatter. And they're just, you use that electricity to power the rest of the community.
Right. So they're doing actually a service instead of trying to marginalize them or attack them for being right wing. We should utilize their frenzy and their fury,
because that's going to create a lot of electricity in the brain. That frenzy.
You think situation. That their fury, taking like say two sides of politics, Guardian, ultra left, ultra woke, so to speak, people's anger versus the conservative right wing baby boomer anti woke fervor. Surely the anti woke is the most fervent and angry.
Oh, absolutely.
If you were measuring the electricity generated.
Yeah. The intensity is going to be way up on the Richter scale.
Yeah, it'd be good to just really, really build up a boomer and then let them loose into a supermarket or something.
Yeah.
Where they're pink fucking sick of that fucking, and then just, that'd be a fun reality show.
That'd be great.
If someone would bump their shopping cart or something, they'd be like, fucking, this is what's going on now because everyone's fucking on their phones. It's political correctness gone mad. And,
Yeah, and just have them rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good TV show for
I'd watch that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what Sky News is already, but when they get on the panel shows and stuff. But
they enjoy the rage.
They enjoy their rage.
There's a perverse enjoyment to their rage.
There is, yeah.
Like, we should be grateful for the things that outrage us in a weird way. You know what? Just in the sense that it is fun to be like, what the fuck? Like, really? There's a weird...
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what would life be without outrage? Like, it'd just be this neutral...
It's a good question, yeah. It's a good... I mean, we like to be annoyed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, have something to complain about. Maybe is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if someone's just... It's complaints are just... they're what bond people.
It's true.
It's like people used to bond over the moon landing because it happened. It was a unifying cultural moment of everyone watching it on TV. Wow, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to bond with someone over the moon landing now.
No.
You can't be like, man, how good is it, Neil?
I think if you're bonding over the moon landing now, it's about how it was faked.
That's what I mean. It's like, man, it's bullshit. Fucking they filmed it in a studio. That's a bedrock for a friendship.
Yeah, that's a tight friendship too.
Yeah.
You found someone that also believes the moon landing.
No one easier to befriend than an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
You just go, man, I don't know, like, were they tracking
I heard it's really bad for your heart. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, you'll see them, I mean, a lifetime of being treated like a pariah. It's like a plant that's dying. Like, the vaccines are fucked. Everyone's leaving them, their friends and family, alien. It's like
losing
a plant,
their job.
and you're just getting water,
right?
Putting it, and the plant's like, it's like, really?
It's reanimating, yeah.
Really? You think that it was maybe a
There's
microchip?
peptides or like things they've done studies.
Autism, yes. Like the plant's coming back to life. It's
like, autism, yes. I like that bit.
Like there's a grant, like you can really light their day up.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like watching a sunflower blossom.
But try lighting someone up by just agreeing with them. Like if you just go, yeah, the Beatles were good. And they're like, yeah. Okay, I'll see you later. Like there's no bedrock there, eh?
It's not as strong.
Like you're not going
to... It's there.
The
Beatles are great.
You won't bond over liking Seinfeld as much as you will mutually hating friends.
Yeah.
For ripping them off.
It's an interesting...
Do you know what I mean?
It's very interesting. Again, to study the brain.
Yeah.
And to see.
Complaints drive us together.
If only there was a complaint that we could all have that united us.
Well, in Barcelona, they've agreed that tourists are bad.
Yeah, you were saying that, yeah.
That's it's the funny, the first time, one time you go overseas, you don't research. You go, yeah, I've heard of this. Then you go and there's a sign saying, shoot on sight.
Right. So you're
like
saying
signs with guns
you
shoot tourists.
Right. So you went to Barcelona and they fucking hated you being there.
Yeah.
Like a marginalized group almost.
It's like, it feels like you're an oppressed minority just because you like go to a restaurant, they're like, get outside. Like they're spitting.
They openly hating you, eh?
Yeah, they're literally people with water pistols and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I really should have got the Google alert on this one. Like this would have helped.
So Barcelona was difficult for that reason.
Yeah.
And you said that even the hotel concierge was like, we do not like tourists.
Yeah, you get to the hotel, he's like, we don't like it. Like, it's a shame you're here.
Yeah, they hate it.
Yeah. So, like, the hotel's usually the one where they have to fake.
Yeah, liking white people.
Like the White Lotus thing.
Yeah.
But he's like, we don't like you. So
they just say it,
Very difficult for you to enjoy yourself here. You've made a mistake.
Fuck, that's wild.
So, yeah, it's not worth it.
I respect the upfrontness of it.
I would almost bring an emotional support dog on the plane to Barcelona just so people thought you were a local because you'd be walking a dog.
So you feel like having a dog makes you look local.
Yeah.
So they might mistake you.
Yeah.
As a I don't think anyone would mistake you as Spanish.
No, but they might think that you're not just
a tourist.
Airbnb-ing and hoteling.
Right.
Because they're not going to do the math on like, it's an emotional support dog for anxiety.
I see. That's the loophole.
Yeah. Bring a dog.
Would you actually ever have an emotional support animal?
I would, yeah. Oh, you mean to take on the plane?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, just in general, like in your life.
Well, yeah.
That's a subtle hint.
Yeah. I think I would take one overseas where there's anti-tourist fervour.
Right,
to assuage them that I was kind of a local or maybe had started like an expat business.
Okay.
Because that's what you'd think, right? You see a red nut in Barcelona with a dog, you're going to think...
If I saw a red nut in Barcelona with a dog, yeah, my mind would go a few places.
You'd be like, they may have started a
I'd
business.
be confused, yeah.
You know?
I'd think maybe you're a tech billionaire or something.
But you're not going to think that cunt's here to see the museums.
Right, because
That's all I'm saying.
Because it shows permanence.
Because that's where they squirt you with the water pistol full of piss. It's when you're queuing up to see the Gaudi exhibit. Do you know what I'm saying? They're like, "Is it the museum, no motherfucker?" And they shoot you with a piss pistol. But I'm just saying, if you've got the dog, they're going to be like, it's a local.
Right.
Like, of course, he's not from here, but he's integrated enough to get a dog.
He's walking his dog, yeah. Don't spray him with a piss pistol.
Don't you reckon? You're not going to think someone with a dog is a tourist.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Because, I mean, I never thought about
It's
it.
a big commit.
Yeah.
Just to avoid getting sprayed with piss and get spat on and being told to eat al fresco because you're not allowed inside.
I like how you spun it to al fresco, though. It makes it sound like it could be fun to be kicked outside.
Al fresco
and
is
eat
a
in the
fun
street
word
like a
for
dog.
a bad thing.
Right.
Like it sound. Do you know what I mean? It's when it's al fresco. It's like, no, I'm out. I'm not allowed in. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I mean outside, but I've given it a name.
Just because you give it a fun wog word doesn't mean it's good.
They're good at that, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Europeans. It's a bandabilla. You mean like it's rotten cheese that you're selling?
It's got
like, they
mold
take
on
shit that's rotten and shit and fucked.
it. I put it up my ass. It marinates. I sit on it like a butt plug. It's a cheese.
It wouldn't surprise me if, because everything like, the champagne, the cheese, all of it's stuff that's gone off. That's become a delicacy. There'll be fucking people eating out of bins in France soon. They'll be like, you eat out of the bin. It's a bin de carta.
Yeah.
You eat out of the bin.
It's binorama. Bit of bin.
You get in the bin, and it's in 100 years they're like, I got into the bin when I was over in France and ate out of the bin.
Yeah, we're eating out of the bin. It was fucking great. You got to queue up to get to the bin. They squirt you with piss because they don't want you there.
That's how everything that's a tradition starts.
Yeah,
is that you start spraying the fucking
tourists
with piss, and then in 100 years it's like we're doing the walk thing where you walk through Paris and Spain and they spray you with piss because you're a tourist. That's the way they do it. They've always done it.
It's a cultural experience.
What do you think the fucking bull run thing is, man? You reckon that's not started by dudes getting chased by actual bulls?
That was an accident.
Yeah,
initially.
It's all accidents.
All life is accident. Like flamenco dancing, the flamenco where it's like yo del neto me,
yeah,
and
they're
then
clicking,
and clapping.
Dance.
That was a domestic dispute.
Right.
Like that started off just a
That's
guy.
a husband-wife fighting.
That's like, you
clicking
fucking
at each other.
did this, bitch. And she's like, fuck you, you've got a small dick. And that's how, and just because it's in Spanish, it feels like a cultural thing.
Right.
But really, if you translated flamenco into English, it'd be like, you threw my laptop into the pool.
Right. You cheat on me again, you spineless, cockless cunt.
She's like, you can't get it up anymore.
That's why they're clicking. Yeah, you got a small dick. And
Yeah.
Antonio's is bigger. I told you, you cheat on me, bitch.
And then Antonio comes out like, it is a bigger, I make her happy.
So the argument was the initial thing, and then it happened so many times that it becomes a dance.
It became a dance.
It becomes culture.
But initially it was a hostile dispute. Like police would have been called in.
And so on, and that represents the clicking, the sound of the handcuffs and so on.
Totally. I saw 2 flamenco shows. I saw one with meal service and one...
With meal service?
One where you got food, like at the Pato Tavern.
Wow.
Like just, you got slop put on your plate while watching.
You get slop on the plate?
You know what I mean? The meals aren't ever very good.
Right.
At an event.
Okay.
Because it's like the entertainment and make the money on the...
On the side, and cheapen.
The difference between the shows was so huge.
Really?
And it just reminded me of comedy a bit, like where if there's meal service, it can be very distracting.
Oh, yeah, it's shit.
Like the one without meal service, standing ovation, theatrical, just everyone so respectful. Everyone was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like so much.
Right, but like with the food.
Food, talking. One of the flamenco dancers was doing this, like threatening, or like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And then back to the clap party. And threatening with, like, literally, like, he's like, fucking shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, stop. And they were taking photos, like, like, and everyone's eating and talking. And
oh my God.
It just reminded me when
seems disrespectful.
Gigs are like that.
Yeah.
When there's food and they're like, oh no, I ordered a chicken. Like, there's that.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's so fucking, yeah.
And you could tell they were like, this crowd's fucked. Like,
yeah.
like
wow.
internally, I could see they were like, because
they were-
he was doing this to him, like,
They were having a tough gig.
he was like motioning with his eyes, like, the fucking shit crowd, you know, like, to the,
Wow.
But
So there was a
like-
lot of tourists
yeah,
in the crowd.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they wanted the meal
Right.
more than the show.
I guess that's hilarious. I don't know why I think that's so American, but that's hilarious.
Yeah,
But I feel like, I guess they wouldn't get heckled.
yeah.
Flamenco dancers. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that we would actually get heckled at that point, I'd imagine. If
They got heckled because clapping is heckling, because it fucks their timing up, because it's a clap-based
right.
thing.
So they don't want you to applaud.
Yes, but because people were drunk and eating, they'd be like, woo, like, fucking up their timing. So he'd be like, shut the fuck up. Like, stop. He'd be doing that, like, shut the fuck up with the clapping.
Fuck, that's hilarious.
And at the theatrical one, everyone was just too, like, wow, we're in a theatre, to, like, clap out of place and stuff. So the clapping fucks. Clapping is like someone going gay or whatever, like...
Right. That's the heckle.
Yeah.
It's funny when Westerners don't get the thing. Because I remember when Dr. Brown, who's like a really famous clowning physical performer, he doesn't talk in his act. It's all physical.
Yeah.
And he did it in Brisbane. And people thought he was doing charades. So he comes out and he's like just using his hands and moving, trying to communicate an idea with incredible. He's incredible. And someone's yelling out, beach, sunset on the beach. And the dude's like, he's going like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like he's shrugging, going, are you crazy? Like you think that's like
That's
I bet
exactly
you didn't have that
it.
in any other city. Like there's no way you go to Melbourne and people go to see a physical performance and then start yelling out because they think it's charades.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah. It's some real
Yeah.
shit, because you're fucking with the subtlety of the thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like it's the exact, what you said is a good example of it, because it's like, that is the clapping during the flamenco thing. Because it's so subtle that they need to keep the timing, and some Americans are like, woo!
Yeah,
Like, that was great. He's like, shut the, like, we're going to lose the whole show.
Yeah, because
you're a
you're
fucking
clapping,
idiot.
you fat fuck.
Yeah.
I'm glad I sprayed you with piss earlier.
I was there. I was
Yeah.
at the protest, you fucking cunt. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm flamenco dancing for you, dog.
Anyway, we should wrap it up. I'm going to say thanks for listening again, and tune in soon. We'll be back. Thanks, Rathy.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.